Dr. Science, I'm a 90s kind of guy.
Do I eat fast Mexican food?
90s guy, yes. At Taco Time, Mother Earth provides for you with wholesome abundance. Why, only Taco Time has the veggie burrito, beans, rice, cheese, and little sunflower seeds, all swaddled in whole wheat. Macro food, micro price. Your hunger is a natural phenomenon. Eat, but eat well.
Doctor, what do I drink with my veggie burrito?
Plenty of fluids.
This week, Taco Time introduces the veggie burrito for only $1.69.
For years, you've been afraid to tell anyone that you think Mel Gibson isn't half the man your husband Lloyd is, and you figured your friends would laugh if you told them Cindy Crawford couldn't hold a candle to your girlfriend Frida. You are not alone. Just what is sexy has been a mystery since the beginning of time, but Good Evening may have the answer. Discover the secret of the ancients, or at least figure out what is sexy. Watch Good Evening's Oh So Sexy tonight at 7:30. Lloyd will never look so good.
The frightening thing about down power lines is that it's impossible to tell if they're dangerous or not. Just like it's hard to tell a harmless bull snake from a deadly cottonmouth. Now would you pick one up, hoping it's the harmless snake? If you see a down power line, don't touch it. Call PGE. We'll handle it.
On the next Live, the big day is almost here, and we'll tell you everything you need to know about wedding etiquette.
Plus new downs.
Tomorrow morning at 9.
A year-long investigation has uncovered a Colombian drug-dealing ring in Portland. And late this afternoon, a regional narcotics task force announced the seizure of 11 pounds of cocaine and the arrest of 4 Colombian nationals. In addition, officers have arrested a dozen people described as upscale drug buyers and dealers. The 4 Colombians face federal charges. They're being held without bail at the Downtown Justice Center. Kathy?
Well, the city of Portland has been pleasantly surprised by the number of people taking part in the city's new recycling program. But like all new programs, it's had its share of problems.
At the Mayor's Forum this morning, Sue Keel and Bruce Walker from Environmental Services said phone lines have been jammed at garbage hauling companies and the city's curbside hotline.
The most common question that we've gotten so far is what we call, who's my hauler?
Here are some of the other complaints the city's been fielding. Why is the rate higher in Portland than in surrounding communities? Why are we paying more for recycling? My hauler missed the pickup at my home. And 2 frequent complaints. It costs $2 more for pickup in the West Hills.
And that's because of the terrain. They sometimes use ancillary vehicles. They also use more fuel. They use more brakes. Their maintenance is more frequent.
And some city residents complain that it's costing them $3 more for non-curbside service.
If elderly or others are physically unable to take their can to the curbside and they have no one in their house that's able-bodied and able to take that to the curbside, they can receive yard service next to their house at the curbside rate.
Keel says if there's a dispute with your hauler, the city will sort it out. In the meantime, the city says get the recyclables out by 6 a.m. Don't try to get rid of any plastic but flattened milk jugs without the lids. And separate the newsprint from magazines. If you do, you can help reduce the refuse going to the landfill by 30,000 tons per year.
We always use that rule of thumb that we fill up the Memorial Coliseum how often?
Once a month.
Once a month, and so you'd have 10% more of the Memorial Coliseum available to fill up every month.
Haulers reclaim only 15% of the cost of recycling from the sale of the recycled material. If you still have any questions, you can call Portland's curbside hotline. The number is 796-7202.
Fill the Coliseum every month? How would the Blazers ever play if that happened?
Not easily.
You know, it wouldn't be a nice thing. Joe, we have beautiful weather up here.
Well,
folks down south, of course, don't. But
now, lots of rain still in California, some more rain on the way, and we've had some trouble with our forecast around here. We've expected a lot of that rain, and it just hasn't shown up for the most part. But there is still a chance we'll see some. Here's a look at the numbers right now. Current conditions, clear skies, and a temperature reading of 56 degrees. The humidity is at 57%. We have a southeast wind at 9 miles per hour, and the barometer's at 29.57 and holding steady. The high today, 61 degrees, and as you can see, that's just 1 degree away from tying the record high of 62, which was set in 1947. The low, 36, and that's right on average. As far as rainfall is concerned, we've had a trace of precipitation, and our totals remain the same for February and the year, and that means we're in a deficit. The freezing level down to 6,200 feet. Here's the satellite loop, and we'll show you this a couple of times and show you the weather moving up out of the south. First system overnight last night moved on through, dropped a bit of rain, but it weakened as it moved across the western part of the state, now well up into Washington state. Another batch of clouds approaching California and southwestern Oregon will bring some showers along with it, and that activity will move up through the state tonight and tomorrow, but don't be surprised if you see clear conditions every once in a while, and tomorrow some sunshine. That'll be nice. Here's a look at the Pacific Ocean a little further out. You can see that next disturbance about ready to move on in. Lots of cool air flowing off of Alaska, and that's going to set up the formation of another system just about where my hand is over the next couple of days, and that will head on in and bring us some rainfall, it looks like, over the weekend. The deep trough still in the Pacific Ocean, but it's breaking down just a bit and starting to move to the east, and the next system about ready to drop on down, re-enhance the trough and bring us some adverse weather towards the weekend. Temperatures in the western United States, highs at least, not too bad. Still the cold air confined to central and northern Canada. Highs around the area today, rather pleasant. Hillsborough, 62 degrees. Down in Aurora, 55 degrees. Look at Oregon City, 66. 62 here at KGW. Estacada had 63 degrees. Camas, Washington had 61. And Brush Prairie had 66 degrees. Salem hit 64 degrees today. That's a record high. Pleasant readings east side with 40s and 50s and 60s and 50s along the coast. Lows overnight last night, 32 for John Day. LeGrand had 40 degrees, 50 in Newport overnight last night. Light amounts of precipitation statewide where the systems are coming on shore. Down in Brookings, just under a ½ inch of rainfall. The national picture shows all of that rain in Southern California. Some places in Southern California over the past 3 days have picked up 10 inches of rainfall. The eastern United States, rather cold. Muskegon, Michigan had a low temperature reading today of 2 above zero. That's a record low. 63 the high in San Francisco. Dallas had 71 degrees. Chicago 30 degrees. Rapid City 42. Anchorage topped it out at 21. Fairbanks 9 and Honolulu 76. There's a small craft advisory up for the entire coastline. Now for tonight, statewide, a chance of showers just about in every location with some snow showers in the Cascades, but otherwise partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, maybe some sunshine, but statewide, look for a chance of showers with some snow showers above 4,500 feet in the Cascades. Here's the forecast now for the Portland-Vancouver metropolitan area for tonight. Look for partly cloudy skies with still a chance of showers about. A southeast wind at 10 to 15, higher near the gorge, the low 38 degrees. And then for tomorrow, look for partly sunny skies with a chance of showers, a southeast wind at 10 to 15 miles per hour, the high 56 degrees. And we'll try it again Friday, an increasing chance of rain, the high 54 degrees. And Saturday, Sunday, Monday, rain at times, the highs near 50, but cooling off to the upper 40s by Sunday and Monday. But you've heard that before, and we had lots of sunshine today. So
yeah, you had to redraw the pictures, didn't you?
Yes, several times.
More work for Joe.
Several times.
Thanks, Joe. We appreciate it. The News 8 political report is coming next with the story on the Republicans' newest presidential candidate. Yep, it's a guy named George Bush.
And then U.S. Senator Bob Paquette of Oregon. Is he feeling sympathy pains for the Israelis and their plight? And the stock market today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose more than 25 points in heavy trading.
Does this kid look like a homewrecker? My husband's kids are ruining my life. On the next Sally. Tomorrow at 4.
Last week at the Lake Edna KFC, there were 2 incredible occurrences. One was the long-awaited introduction of new skin-free crispy chicken. People were astonished that skin-free chicken could be so crispy, juicy, and delicious, astounded over the deep, marinated taste. And the UFO is interesting, too. New KFC Skin-Free Crispy, the juiciest deal in Lake Edna or your neck of the woods.
Big savings and a free cherry pie during the big President's Birthday Sale at Brian Bickmore Dodge. Special sale tags are posted in each vehicle. Only $99.82 for new 92 Spirits with air, tilt wheel, and cruise control. 16 at this price. 10, $492 for 1992 LE Dakotas with V6 Magnum engine and factory air. 10 at this price. 11, $9.92 for new 92 Caravans with factory air, 8 at this price. That's Brian Bickmore Dodge on Canyon Road in Beaverton, where we rent cars and trucks for $15 per day.
Since a cough can be extra annoying at night, doctor it with Robitussin.
That should do it.
Robitussin, recommended by more doctors, pharmacists, and Dr. Mom. There's a new way to doctor a cough. Robitussin cough drops.
Try this, it's new.
With an active ingredient that speeds soothing relief to your cough.
Try this, it's new.
New Robitussin cough drops from the cough experts.
Every day, the news is filled with change.
We're seeing lower interest rates with lower standards of living.
There's unemployment, increasing population, and the Northwest is showing the strains of growth.
During February on News 8 at 5, we'll give you some solutions to this economic struggle.
From exposing corruption to living within your means, you'll get answers from our entire news team.
We're calling them smart solutions, and they're another good reason to watch us work for you.
Everyone knows that certain things are good for you. But did you know that plastic wrap can help a disabled child walk? Or that margarine can help a disabled adult get around? Well, it's true. When you buy specially marked Back-A-Fighter products between now and March 31st, you contribute to Easter seals. So stop by your grocer's soon, because it's truly wonderful what paper towels can do.
Well, it's official. President Bush wants to keep his job another 4 years, and he announced that he is running. Vice President Dan Quayle joined President Bush to launch their 1992 campaign, along with 1,000 of the president's longtime supporters. With a weak economy and other domestic problems threatening a second term, Mr. Bush hit hard on his foreign policy achievements.
And think of it. 2 years ago, the Berlin Wall came tumbling down, and last year, the Soviet Union collapsed.
President Bush has already collected $11 million for his re-election campaign, and his name is on the ballot in some 26 states. In fact, right after this morning's announcement, Mr. Bush was off to New Hampshire, which holds its primary next Tuesday. Meanwhile, House Democrats say they want to meet the March 20th deadline on the president's budget proposal, but House Ways and Means Committee Chairman Dan Rostenkowski says the budget does too much for the rich and not enough for other Americans.
As News 8 told you last night, Senator Bob Packwood has collected more money for his re-election campaign than any other incumbent in Congress, more than $3 million. Much of that money comes from people outside Oregon who believe Packwood is a key protector of Israel. And as our Washington, D.C. correspondent Tom Ackerman reports tonight, Packwood goes to great lengths to further that image.
By other users. Bob Packwood has never served on the Senate's foreign policy committees, but he's defended Israel's interests throughout his career. Packwood maintains mailing lists targeted at pro-Israel sympathizers across the country, and he asks them all to send money. In a recent campaign fundraising letter, Packwood writes, "Israel needs my help and yours more than ever before." Packwood says the Jewish state has the historical right to much more than just the occupied West Bank and Gaza Strip.
The map in Packwood's letter also contends that Israel has a historic claim to pieces of its neighboring states, territory which hasn't been under Jewish control since the days of the Old Testament.
There isn't a single political grouping in Israel of any consequence which advocates this.
Yoav Carney, correspondent for one of Israel's leading papers, Haaretz, says Packwood would be labeled an extremist back in his country.
I think the senator has gone even beyond the lunatic fringe with this map.
Packwood's religious affiliation is Unitarian. He's never identified himself as Jewish. But he gives that impression when he writes, "Only when we were dispersed to other lands did the Jewish people become a minority in our own homeland." Packwood's courting of Israel supporters is paying off. In his latest filing with the Federal Election Commission, Packwood reports tens of thousands of dollars from pro-Israel contributors in New York, Florida, Illinois, and other big states. And 5 pro-Israel political action committees gave Packwood $2,500 to $10,000 apiece in 1991. In his letter, Packwood writes, "Many of my constituents back home in Oregon simply do not understand why I am so personally committed to the state of Israel." Packwood says he does it out of pure conviction, but it also certainly helps to pay the campaign bills back home. In Washington, D.C., Tom Ackerman, News 8.
Packwood's Democratic challenger, Congressman Lester Coyne, says he's been a staunch congressional supporter of Israel as well, but Coyne hasn't netted nearly as much money for that support. News 8 goes in concert with singer Kenny Loggins, but first Eric Johnson has a sports report.
With the latest on the Blazers, coming off a close one with the Nuggets, and we'll also have a profile of a Portland teacher who's watching the Winter Olympics with special interest. She's an Olympic medal winner herself. Sports is next.
The Northwest is filled with nature's wonders. Portland General Electric and Channel 8 invite you to join us in protecting this beautiful place we call home.
What do you say? What do you say?
Burger King talked to some smart shoppers.
You gotta smell a bargain.
It's not the bargain, it's the hunt.
For just 99 cents at Burger King, you smart shoppers can get a different delicious entree every day of the week. Buy a medium fries or onion rings and a medium drink and get a mouth-watering entree for only 99 cents.
If it looks good and it fits, it's a bargain.
I snip them out and take them home. Your way, right away, at Burger King now.
Critics are calling it the feel-good event of the year. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll wag your tail.
Nice doggy.
At Mazda Mania, the year's premier sales event. With cashback plus special options, save up to $1,840 on a Mazda Protege. Don't miss these 4-star savings.
I love you, Bob.
Dave.
Don't miss Mazda Mania.
At Herzog, Meyer, Murray, Moore, Link, Tonkin, DeLon, Vancouver, and Midway Mazda now.
Come on and nutricize your body. Come on and nutricize your mind. What you got to do is make a phone call. 1-800-321-BEN. Nutricize your life.
Nutricize now and lose all the weight you can at Nutrisystem for only $79. Call 1-800-321-THIN.
I loved this Drexel Heritage sofa the moment I saw it at Paul Schatz, but then I told a Paul Schatz professional designer about Bob's favorite chair. Well, she showed me dozens of fabric weaves, textures, and colors, and we decided on this deep, rich burgundy. Now my gorgeous new sofa even makes Bob's chair look good. I wish it did the same for Bob. Paul Schatz, I love you.
Let a Paul Schatz professional designer show you exciting savings now during the Paul Schatz Winter Sale.
Bob, you look great in that chair.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what happens if you want to see the Blazer game tonight.
You better fly to Phoenix.
Really?
Get a ticket, stand in line, do something, because it's not being televised. It's not on the satellite.
Gee whiz.
So what, radio only,
Bill Scheinley's the man. You got to listen to him. In less than an hour, the Blazers take to the floor against those Phoenix Suns. Should be a great game. The Blazers lead the Suns by a game and a half in the Pacific Division. Even if they lose, they'll still be in first place, but that's not what they have in mind.
You know, we got the kinks out. If anything, you know, Phoenix hasn't played, so I think they're going to have some kinks a little bit. And, you know, we just have to go out there and play the way we played the last time we was down there, give ourselves a chance to win the ball game, and, you know, I think we'll be in great shape. We're expecting a very tough contest in Phoenix, and last time we were there, we had a very close game, and we came up a little bit short. So this time we're going to come out with a little bit more aggression, and hopefully we can get the job done.
Now, those comments made after last night's game with the Nuggets. Nuggets actually dominated the first half, but the Blazers regained control in the third quarter. Look at Jerome Kersey work hard, out-rebounds Dikembe Mutombo, scores, and draws the foul. Mutombo had 14 points in the evening, but was in no way dominant in this game. 2 of those points right there. Watch Danny Ainge here, comes up with the steal. He is struggling for control all the way down the court. He's out of control. Throws it up without even looking up at the basket, draws the foul, and scores. 94-89 Blazers to the fourth quarter. Clyde wide open underneath. Jams, he had 28 points. The Blazers led by 8. But the Nuggets clawed back. Mark Macon with a circus shot there. It was back to a 1-point game with 2:19 left, but the Blazers bowed their backs and played good D. And look at there. Well, you saw the flip there by Mark Macon using Kevin Duckworth as a pommel horse. 121-112 the final. 13 straight wins at home for the Blazers. Highlights of that Suns game tonight at 11 o'clock. At the Winter Olympics in France today, Bonnie Blair came up short in her bid for a second gold medal. The 1,500-meter speed skating distance a little bit beyond her comfort zone, and she finished a disappointing 21st. In the women's luge competition, American Amy Myler finished 5th, which was the best American finish ever. She fainted right after the race. In hockey, Czechoslovakia squeezed past the unified team 4-3 to advance to the medal round. Canada pounded Norway 10-0, and host Team France stayed alive by beating Switzerland 4-3. Overall, today, Germany won 5 medals. They are tied with Austria
in the medal count. Well, one of the great things about winning an Olympic medal, they tell me, is that it really does last forever. Being an Olympic medalist will always mean something, and long after the cheers subside, the self-satisfaction remains. Joe Becker tells us about one Oregonian who doesn't like to brag about her Olympic achievements, but gets pushed into it once every 4 years.
She didn't make any mistakes. We'll go through this fairly quickly. First row.
Jean Saubert is a 6th grade teacher at McKinney Elementary School in Hillsboro. However, this week Saubert's teaching more than reading, writing, and arithmetic. The special subject's the Winter Olympics, and Jean just happens to be an expert.
Fortunately, for 3 years, I get to be an ex-Olympian, and then every 4 years, I have to dust off the medals and come out of the woodwork.
The medals are silver and bronze, and they come from the 1964 Winter Games at Innsbruck, Austria. The students at McKinney found out that their Miss Saubert was an Olympic hero.
But I worked really hard, so I put it in there to show that the reason I did well in skiing was the same reason I did well in school, because I just worked hard.
The time she has to beat 153.11.
She's off now, Jim. She looks like she really had it. You could have...
Saubert, who grew up in Cascadia, Oregon, was the top female skier in the United States in the mid-60s. She proved it on the Alps. The 21-year-old skier earned a bronze medal in the slalom and a silver in the giant slalom.
This girl will be a national heroine in about an hour if she can only do it.
Come on, Jeannie. Lovely technique we're watching here with Jeannie.
She doesn't seem to have missed a thing so far.
No, she's going to have a fast run, I think. Here she comes now. It's a fast finish. Now she'll pole, skate a little bit, and get in that tuck.
Come on. 153.11, an exact tie unofficially.
I felt like I skied it above my ability, maybe, so I love my silver.
Jeannie Saubert of the United States.
Not all of Saubert's Olympic memories are from skiing. She also enjoyed the opening ceremonies, the Olympic Village, and especially the figure skating.
Probably the highlight of my own Olympics was getting to watch the Russian couple, the Protopopovs, who that was their first year winning the gold medal, and I got to sneak in and see them win, and they were fantastic, and I loved, I mean, that's probably what I remember the most if I think about the Olympics.
Jean retired from skiing after the 1966 World Championships in Chile, and she became a school teacher the following year. She says she skis only occasionally now. Saubert graduated from Oregon State and also has a master's from BYU. But it's her Olympic achievements that most people want to hear about.
I was told once that I was sort of had an obligation to talk to people, and one of the reasons I don't mind doing it is because it lets them see just how ordinary Olympians are. I mean, we're just ordinary people. They should. I'll mention it. I think that when the Olympics are over, you just go and be who you are.
And to the students in McKinney, she's Miss Saubert. In Hillsboro, Joe Becker, News 8 Sports.
It's pretty modest about those medals.
Well, not quite ordinary people.
Not quite.
No.
I think if I had a medal, I'd be wearing it around my neck the rest of my life.
You probably
just
would.
To show up.
Yeah, I know. You would, though. You would do that.
I'm not
I have
joking.
to admit. Okay.
I'm totally serious.
It's a very nice story.
Eric.
Thanks, Eric. Now, coming up on News 8 at 11, a verdict in that Pacific yew tree theft trial. We'll have that story. And also at 11, the latest from Southern California, where right now rains have turned the area into a huge flooded mess. Many residents have been hard hit, losing their homes and cars. We'll have the outlook on News 8 at 11. And the life of a rock star is glamorous, maybe, but you don't get to the top or stay at the top with glamour alone. It takes hard work.
As evidence, Carl Click presents a day in the life of Kenny Loggins. His trip to Portland today was no vacation.
We know Kenny Loggins from pictures like this, a video. It's the music business.
Hey, how you doing?
But this, too, is the music business.
Welcome to where are we?
If it's Wednesday, this must be Portland. Kenny Loggins is on tour, but it's not a concert tour. He won't be at the Schnitz tonight. Loggins and an entourage of 6 others are on the highway to radio promotions. Portland today, it was Seattle yesterday, and there were 10 or so stops before that.
Just a couple weeks. That's not long.
Really?
I've done longer, yeah. A typical day will be maybe 3 stations and a newspaper. Today will be about that. Me too.
Howdy. Denise Swanson. I'm the GM here.
How you doing?
Nice to meet you.
No, he's not in concert, but he still performs. Loggins will shake hands, make small talk, and do interviews.
By the way, you look great.
Thanks. Hi, this is Kenny Loggins, and you're listening to the new sound of Q105.
This is how Loggins and Columbia Records sell CDs and tapes now. He's competing with every new kid on the block in the music business. And the more stations he visits like this, the more play his new album, Leap of Faith, will get. That's why the autographs. That's why lunch is in a limousine.
If I had my druthers, I'd be on the beach.
But druthers make way for business. Today, that meant performing live over a radio station.
I did it for you, me, and because I still believe there's only one thing can never give up, never compromise on. That's the real thing you need in love.
Q105 listeners and a few folks around the office got a 30-minute concert from Kenny Loggins. So will a couple other radio stations in town. And it will all happen again tomorrow, but in San Francisco. Carl Click, News 8.
He knows how to promote.
Boy, lucky people.
Yeah.
They got their own concert. I like him.
Yeah, he's good. That's our news tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Tonight. Hollywood, where beautiful girls will do anything to succeed, but end up doing everything to survive.
Tonight at 7.
Right now, while the lettuce is cool and crisp, the bell pepper's firm, just perfect. He's not thinking how all this wonderful produce was inspected for freshness, how it was trimmed and prepared to give better value. And that's okay. All he's thinking about is the great taste. Fred Meyer, for people who love great food and lower prices.
A day in the sun, a friend by your side, feeling the magic, taking a ride, having a treat, moving your feet. I'm going to Disneyland. I'm going to Disneyland. Saying love get hurts in a magic word. I'm going to Disneyland. I'm going to Disneyland. I'm going to Disneyland.
What would it take to get you out of a Honda Accord and into a new Mercury Sable? The power of a V6 engine, optional anti-lock brakes, a roomier interior, or something Accord doesn't even offer, available airbag protection for both the driver and the passenger. See the 92 Sable with a dual airbag supplemental restraint system not offered by any other manufacturer in its class. Sable, at your Lincoln Mercury dealer.
It all began with a tender, boneless chicken patty. Then we added a slice of Swiss cheese and savory ham. Then, after we added a fresh-cut, juicy sirloin steak, we decided to take something away. A bit off the price. Sizzler's Steak and Malibu Chicken for a special low price. Only for a limited time. Only at Sizzler.
There's a special kind of feeling here in the Northwest.
It's a Sweetheart Super Sidewalk Sale throughout Lancaster Mall, February 14th through the 17th. Save big on clothing, shoes, jewelry, household items, and more.
When it comes to shopping, the Northwest knows. It feels so good inside Lancaster Mall.